9/11, right? So what does 9/11 mean to me? It's got a range of meanings for me and a lot of emotion for me because I will tell you that not only have I worked here at the New York Stock Exchange for 28 years, but I also had my office in the World Trade Center in the second tower on the 55th floor. Actually, my office looked right outside the Hudson River on the west side, so I had a sweeping view of the river. That particular morning, as was always the case, I would arrive at about 10 minutes to 7, turn the TV on, read the newspaper, get my work done, start to do my work. The other guys that I worked with would show up at 7:15, 7:30, then everyone get their work done. This particular morning, my coworkers came into the office, said to me, come on, let's go over to the exchange and have breakfast. And I turned around and I looked at my desk, and there was a stack of papers on my desk, and I needed to get all these bills paid. And I said to them, you guys go without me, I'll stay. I'll get this work done, and I'll meet you guys at work at 9 o'clock. With that, they left. They got in the elevator, they went down. You have to understand, you had to take 2 elevators to get down to the lobby in the Trade Center at that point. You had to go from 55 to 46 and then 46 down to the lobby. And it took you maybe 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes by the time you waited for the elevator, got in the elevator, get down to the lobby, right? They get down to the lobby, they walk outside. It was a spectacular day. They started to walk across the street, and one of them stopped and turned around and said, I'm gonna go back up and get Kenny because, you know, it's a beautiful day. We'll come back at the end of the day. We'll help him do his paperwork. The other guys left to come over here to get a table for breakfast. He comes back upstairs in the elevator. He sticks his head back in my office at about 20 after 8. And I said to him, I thought you went to have breakfast. He goes, I did. And we got all the way downstairs, and we decided we want you to come with us. We'll come back at the end of the day and help you pay these bills. And I swung around in the chair and I looked out the window, and I have this spectacular view of the Hudson River and Statue of Liberty to the left and George Washington Bridge to the right. I had the coffee in my hand and I looked out the window, and it was a spectacular day, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'll come back tonight and finish this. And with that, I picked up my jacket and I left. And now it was 8:24. And we walked out, got in the elevator, came down to the lobby, walked across the street, came over here to the exchange to have breakfast. I say that because now we're having breakfast upstairs, and it's 8:47 when the first plane struck the first tower, but understand that the first plane struck north to south, way up high in the 90s. Heard nothing. We were upstairs, we were having breakfast, I heard nothing. We get in the elevator after breakfast, we come down to the lobby here, and there was all this commotion in the lobby. Looked at the guard and I said, what's going on? He said, plane hit the Trade Center, all this commotion. How could the plane hit the Trade Center? It's not like you can't see them. And you originally think, man, maybe it was a commuter plane. Some guy had a heart attack. I mean, listen, it happened in the 1930s with the Empire State Building, right? And he said, no, it wasn't a commuter plane. He said it was a jet. And at that moment, you thought, because jets don't, the west side, the Hudson River is not a typical flight path for jetliners. And so you thought to yourself, doesn't sound right. But yet, when you're here on the floor, you can't see anything on the outside. And so I came into my booth to call my wife to say to her, turn the television on, tell me what's going on. And when I rang the phone, she picked it up and she's crying and she's saying to me, where are you, where are you? And I said, I'm at work. I said to her, Evelyn, I need to know, turn the television on. And she's screaming at me that they flew a plane into the side of the Trade Center. And at that moment, as you can imagine, it's surreal because who's they, and what do you mean they flew a plane into the Trade Center? You're trying to wrap your head around it, and you can't. And at that moment, she starts screaming into the phone because now she's watching on television as the second plane is coming around. Meanwhile, I can't see a thing. All I can hear her is screaming. And next thing you know, the second plane came west to east, and it hit the building, actually the building that our office was in, right smack in the middle of the building, right? Like from 58 to 78, it made this diagonal right through the building. This one, not only could we feel and hear, because of the way it came west to east, the explosion and the vibration all the way over here, 3 blocks away. And now the alarms at the exchange start to go off. Everybody's running around trying to figure out what's going on. I said to my wife, I said, kiss the girls for me. I don't know when I'll see them. I'm okay at the moment. I have no idea what's going on. I have to go. And I hung up the phone. Got my guys, 6 of us, we all walked out the side of the building on the east side. We walked down Wall Street. And as I'm walking down Wall Street, the tops of the building come into sight, and you could see them engulfed in flames, just the vision that everybody in the world saw. And again, it was surreal, right? It was numbing. It was almost incomprehensible. And so that's my first memory, certainly, of the day, and my first memory of this attack that took place, and right here in our own on American soil, right here in our own backyard. And although the exchange called everybody to come back in because they figured it would be safer in the building than out, I made the decision that since I didn't know what was going on, and since I couldn't see anything when I was inside the building, I'd rather be outside the building, so if something's going to happen, I want to see it coming. And we all stayed out, walked to the East River, and started to walk north to go home. You can imagine the exchange was closed for the rest of the balance of that week. There was a lot of emotion running through the days afterwards. At home, I was just glued to the television. I just sat at the television and I just watched it. I mean, almost 20, just around the clock straight. I couldn't get myself off the TV. I couldn't get myself off the couch. Stop watching what was happening. We came back to work on the Monday, and I will tell you, as difficult as that day was for us as Americans and for us down here, because you have to understand the camaraderie amongst the people that work there at the New York Stock Exchange is something I can't even describe. The truth is, though, New Yorkers in general came as a group.